Stage, Nikki Montgomery, who is going to sing America the Beautiful.
All right. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with neighborhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Please join me in welcoming to the stage Texas Democratic Party Treasurer Otis Evagaru.
Harris, what's up? Oh, that's not good enough for a Saturday. Harris County, what's up? And to all those who celebrate, and it better be all of you, happy Black History Month. I do want to take care of some housekeeping things. First of all, I'm going to recognize Representative Jolanda Jones. We are sitting in her district. So thank you for hosting. If you are an elected official, please stand up. Y'all give it up for our elected officials who are on the front lines fighting like crazy for us. And then the people that I hold near and dear to my heart because of being a former chair and some of the work that they do, the backbone of our party, our precinct chairs, if you could stand up, please. I know we have a couple of county chairs in the building. If you could stand up, please. I know y'all will be up here sooner, but our county chairs. And I would be remiss if I didn't shout out our fellow SDEC members who will be voting on this critical election. So if you are an SDEC member, please stand up. Perfect. I want to thank the Harris County Democratic Party. I want to thank the Fort Bend County Democratic Party, the Brazoria County Democratic Party, Montgomery County Democratic Party, the Waller County Democratic Party, Jefferson County Democratic Party, Galveston County Democratic Party, the Black Caucus, and the Asian American Democrats of Texas for hosting this forum. It's so great when we are unified, and I want to thank Wheeler Avenue Baptist for allowing us to be in this space and always being on the front lines of civic engagement. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's Fannie Lou Hamer. I'm sick and tired of a president who tramples on the Constitution and has no regard for it. Oh, by the way, thank you, County Attorney Menifee and Commissioner Garcia, for signing on that amicus brief for defending a basic constitutional right. I'm sick and tired of not having health care. Sick and tired of not having a livable wage, even when the other side says inflation is the problem, but they do nothing about fixing our wages. I'm tired of our public education school systems not being fully funded. As you can probably tell, I'm sick and tired about a lot of things. And there's a lot of noise coming out of DC, and there's a lot of noise coming out of Austin, but my message to you is do not get distracted. Do not get distracted. Keep focus. That's what they want you to do. They want you to get lost in all of these things, or we're not keeping our eyes on the prize, and that's 2026. Don't worry, we're going to find a U.S. Senate candidate to go up against John Cornyn for now. We're going to find a gubernatorial candidate that's going to go up against Greg Abbott, and go up against Dan Patrick, and go up against Ken Paxton. We're going to do those things. And so today we're here, and you know what, I should say thank you to all of you that's running to be the next chair of the party. That is a tough job. It's a tough job, and I want to thank each of you for coming here. And so with all of that being said, we're looking for a next party chair that can build on some of the accomplishments that we have as TDP, like candidate recruitment, where we're able to have every single statewide race contested, every Senate race contested, and 85% of our legislative races contested in 2024. We're here to build on the successes of continuing strong relationships like we have with our county party chairs and the Texas Young Democrats. That's what we're here to do. And so I'm so happy to see all of you on a Saturday afternoon where you could be by the pool in 80-degree weather here only in Houston and seeing what these fantastic candidates have to say. So thank you so much for being here. And also on behalf of the Texas Democratic Party, we hope that the message that you get from here when we leave is that we're better and we're stronger together than we are divided. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Democratic Party Chairman for Harris County, Mr. Mike Doyle.
So welcome to a diverse, equitable, and inclusive Harris County. I do want to make sure we shout out the staff, Harris County, Texas Democratic Party, who put this together. This is a lot of work. Thank you. And as we come together, as Otis pointed out, this is really about the entire Democratic Party, every community coming together to fix what we need to fix in this state. And that's what this job is all about. That's what we're going to hear today. That's what we need to do to make sure that this state is what it needs to be, without a doubt. Let me share with you one last thing, and I would be remiss if I didn't do this. It's not just Wheeler Avenue, it's the pastor who is kind enough and who has been kind to this party and has afforded us the opportunity to use their great facility so many times in doing this. And so Pastor Marcus Cosby, who's not here, thank you. Pastor Alexander Johnson, thank you. And I often tell folks there's probably about 36 people who doing this job would be impossible without. And that person among that crowd is Tony Middleton Lewis. Thank you, Tony. And the last part of my job here, besides welcoming you to this county, is to introduce our moderator. And, you know, I've heard this said, if you do a good job, the problem is you're going to have to do it over and over again. And Melanie Miles Basil did an incredible job for our CD18 forum. And so her reward for that, besides our internal gratitude, is she gets to be our moderator here. Where are you, Melanie? Oh, there you are. She's also one of the founders of our newest club, Southeast Democrats. She's an active attorney, because I'm proud to say in Harris County we have clubs glowing. We have more precinct chairs than we ever had. We've grown in a way that needs to meet the challenges of this county, which are here. Melanie is someone who is not just active in the community, she's worked so many hours in the last 2 weeks to get this ready so that you get, not just for the voters, but for the folks across the state watching the webinar, a real sense about who is qualified, who's best qualified among all these great candidates to lead this party. Please join me in welcoming our moderator, Melanie Miles Basil.
Okay, are y'all ready to get this show started? So am I, and I know that our candidates are as well. Good evening, or good afternoon, rather, to everyone, and welcome to Southeast Houston. And to the third forum of the Texas Democratic Party chair being held right here in the historic Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church. As you've already heard, my name is Melanie Miles Basil, and I am honored to serve you today as the moderator of this very important forum to select our interim chair of the Texas Democratic Party. As you've already heard, this is a crucial time, so let's go ahead and get to it and call up our candidates, right? So first, in alphabetical order, and I'm going to ask our candidates to please stand up and let's come on up here on stage. It's Aaron Arguijo. Aaron is a compact veteran, former candidate and former prior U.S. Senate candidate. Next is Mary Gomez, a taxation consultant and mother of two. Patsy Woods Martin, former executive director of Annie's List and, believe it or not, former Ship Channel worker. Then we have Steve Miller, Pastor Steve Miller, actually, founder of the United States Christian Leadership Organization and associate pastor of Mount Hebron in Henderson, Texas. Delia Parker Mims, who is the current county chair for Denton County, Texas, and an active attorney. Patricia Olivares. Patricia is the director of government relations of the Service Women's Action Network and has been working in local politics for many, many years. Lily Schechter. Lily is a prior Harris County Democratic Party chair and president of Bayou City Strategies. Kendall Shooter. Kendall is vice chairman of the Texas Democratic Party Finance Committee and elected countywide for Dallas Appraisal District. All right. Hey guys. Before we begin, because we are sensitive to time, and I'm going to talk about the rules right now just for a second, we're going to ask you all to please hold your applause until the end of a question rather than after each person speaks, because we want to make sure that we can hear each candidate and that we have enough time for everyone. Okay? Y'all have y'all's agreement on that? All right, good deal. All right, so let's talk about the rules for a second. Responses to questions will be no longer than 60 seconds. We have our beautiful timekeeper here, and she will give you all, maybe I should take this up. She will give you all a 30, 15, 30's green, 15 seconds left is yellow, and 0, you are out of time, which is in red. Okay? Questions will be asked in the order of the candidate's seating, from my right to my left, and are sourced from our co-sponsors that you've already heard about, the county parties and caucuses, and from a questionnaire form that many of you, thank you very much, sent in your questions, okay? I will rotate that first question along this line, all right? And you will shortly see what I'm talking about. Round one questions are 3 questions that all of the candidates will answer. Round 2 questions are topic questions. There will be 2 questions per topic. The first question in the topic will go to the first 4 candidates, and the second question in the topic will go to the next 4 candidates. The closing question will be answered by all 8 candidates here today. Rebuttals, if we have time for rebuttals, which I don't know that that's going to happen today, folks, I'm just telling you right now. If we have rebuttals, then the first candidate that answers the question will also have the right to a 30-second rebuttal, okay? All right. Thrown in between there, again, if we have time, we've got a rapid fire round. And so during that rapid fire, they'll have an opportunity to answer questions yes or no, preferably. I don't want to have to take a hook and so, and grab you off the stage. So it's yes or no to the question. And again, that's if we have the time to do so. All right. If there are no further questions, let's get this party started. Okay. You all have microphones. There's a microphone here and one here. Is that correct? Okay. Oh, and one here. We've got 3. Great. All right. Well, we have 4. Perfect. Perfect. Then you share. Two candidates will share a microphone. All right. So the first question is to, Mr. Arguello. Oh, sorry. Your opening statements. Thank you so much. I forgot about that. The candidates have drawn for their position with regards to opening statements and who's going to give the first opening statements, and let me tell you in that order. The opening statements will first, you'll hear from Patsy Woods Martin, number 1, Delia Parker Mims, number 2, Aaron Arguello, number 3, number 4 is Kendall Shooter, number 5 is Patricia Olivares, number 6 is Lila Schechter, number 7 is Steve Miller, and number 8 is Mary Gomez. All right. Opening statements, candidates.
Hello. I am honored and humbled to be here with you today at the historic Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church under the strong leaderships of Pastor Cosby and Johnson, and to be in the hometown of Democratic icons Mickey Leland, Sheila Jackson Lee, and Barbara Jordan. You know, we are all here because we want to make life better for our fellow Texans, and we believe the best way to do that is through the electoral process, to win elections for our democratic values. I have a strong track record in doing just that. I'd like to bring that experience of leading a statewide organization and raising millions of dollars for Democratic candidates to the Texas Democratic Party so that we can win elections in this state.
Delia Parker Mims.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. I'm Delia Parker Mims, and I'm the current chair of the Denton County Democratic Party, the best county party in the state of Texas, and I'll tell you why. After the election, I was devastated like most of us, but I knew that we have to continue to fight. In Denton County, we've been fighting, and we are the largest county in the state of Texas, that means listen, to increase Democratic turnout. The trend has been to lose Democratic turnout statewide as well as nationwide. But ever since I've been chair, we have been the largest county. We're the 7th largest county in the state of Texas to do that. We also, in more than 30 years, our candidate recruitment has been amazing because we had our entire legislative ballot filled. Our fundraising went from a $20,000 fundraising to a $200,000 fundraising because getting Democrats to the polls is what's important. This is not a popularity contest. This is not who can be busy. This is who can get Democrats to the polls, who can get us organized, and who can work with our county parties. Thank you so much.
Aaron Arguello.
Thank you all for having me here. The Democratic Party is the only party big enough that can take on the fascism that's taking place here in Texas and across the United States. A lot of hopes and dreams have been shattered in our state and across America with the recent elections that have taken place here. You're going to hear a lot of questions today, some that we may not have the perfect answer to. But unless each and every person up here is willing to go out into the communities of Texas and talk with and speak to people in these communities and hopefully encourage somebody to run for an office, then our Democratic Party of Texas is going to continue to fail. I'm furious. I'm upset with what's happening. I want to do something about it, and I'm here to make this problem my problem. My name is Aaron Arguijo, and I'm running to be your next TDP chair. Thank you.
Kendall Scudder.
Hi, how are you? Ooh. I don't know, guys. What are we doing? That doesn't count for my time, right? Just kidding. Hi, how are you? My name's Kendall Scudder, and it is just such an honor to be here, and I greatly appreciate y'all for hosting this today. I've been in the field doing this work for Democrats for 22 years. I grew up with lesbian mamas in East Texas, and when I was 12, Republicans were writing bills to take kids like me out of our homes and put us in foster care, so I started knocking on doors. For the last 22 years, I've served on every level of our party's leadership. I've been a precinct chair, county chair. I've been on the SDEC. I currently serve as the finance chair for the party. I was a nominee in one of the reddest districts in this state where I felt ignored and neglected by our party structure, and I was the candidate in one of the bluest places in our state where I won and currently serve as one of the directors of the Dallas Appraisal District. I have seen this party from every angle, and what I have seen from every angle are people on the ground who are precinct chairs, county chairs, grassroots activists who feel disrespected by this institution. And what we need is a tonal shift where we focus on the grassroots. We need to shift where we're not so focused on making sure we keep a bunch of consultants paid in Austin and DC, but are making sure that you get the resources that you need on the ground to be able to deliver results so that we can win Texas.
Thank you. Patricia Olivares.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and a privilege to be in the historic 3rd Ward at Wheeler Baptist Church, found by Houston pastor William Lawson. The Reverend in the 1960s hosted Martin Luther King Jr. here at this church. They spoke up at a time where it meant death, but that didn't stop them from speaking up. I served in the Marines for 12 years. I served in Iraq in 2008 and Afghanistan from 2010 to 2011. And let me tell you, I have seen what brutal regimes can do. And Donald Trump administration is a brutal regime. And with me as your next Texas Democratic Party chair, we will tell him with a resounding voice, don't mess with Texas. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lily Schechter.
Hey y'all, are there any Democrats in the House? I cannot hear you. Are there any Democrats in the House? That sound you hear right now, Harris County Democrats, they know that sound because that's what it sounds like when we all work together and win together. When I was Harris County Democratic Party chair in 2018 and 2020, we not only swept the county, but we also flipped seats. I do want to take a moment of personal privilege to say thank you to Representative Jones. I am in your district right now, but I also live in this district also. So thank you for hosting us here today. I've been a Democratic workhorse my entire life. I have spent countless hours working side by side with many of the people that are here supporting me today, including County Attorney Christian Menefee, Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia, and Tax Assessor Annette Ramirez. You all know that I'm a workhorse and that I'm gonna get to the party and hit the ground running because I've been doing this my entire life and I'm ready to take the vision here to Austin or Texas.
Thank you. Steve Miller.
We have lost every single statewide race since 1994. We have 27 statewide elected officials, and we've lost every last one of them since 1994. That's 31 years of losing. If you look at this map, The colored areas are the places where the candidates campaigned this last year. The white is where they did not campaign. In those areas, there are 10 million people who weren't even asked for their vote. So as a candidate, I promise to build up the rural areas, the infrastructure in those areas, so we can send candidates out there and ask for their vote so they will vote for us after we tell them how we're going to meet their needs. I'm Steve Miller, and I'm running for Democratic chair.
Mary Gomez.
Hello. Hi guys, I'm Mary Gomez, and a little context. It's 2010, and I signed up for my accounting degree at University of Texas, the #1 university in the state of Texas, University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. And I take a class with Dr. John Darcy. He is the CPA for Mr. Toyota, where he developed a just-in-time system where I've applied that to my life, where I arrived here just in time, guys, so I can cut corners and I'm not spending money on hotels. But let me give you a little introduction to what I had when I was in class. Do you think you matter? You think you matter? Do you think you matter? I'm here to tell you that you don't matter. Why? It's 2010. What happened in 2010, guys? Citizens United. The only thing that matters, and excuse me, when you die, nothing is left but ashes. But if you have a corporation, a state, or a trust, you will live forever. And you will have something. And what the Democratic Party needs right now is a doctor of corporations, and I'm that one. Thank you very much.
All right. We are now going to move on to our very first question, which will be answered by all 8 candidates. The question is, why are you the best person for the job of Texas Democratic Party chair? And we'll start with Aaron.
Thank you. My entire life, I have lived a life of service. I graduated high school. I went on to be in the military. I served for 10 years, deployed on Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and I did boots on the ground in Camp Taji, Iraq. After that, I went to college, started a company, and started a nonprofit organization called Texas Top Prospects. My entire 20s while I was serving in the military, I traveled across Texas from Lubbock, Tulia, Del Rio, all these little towns building churches. So my entire life has been consumed with a life of service. And this race right here is for my daughters. I got 2 little girls, for the future of all the Texans, for all the future of all the kids that are in a place where we don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. For the immigrant families who think that their families are gonna get torn apart, this is who I'm fighting for. This is why I'm running, and this is why I care. Thank you.
Mary? Yes, absolutely. Why are you the best person for the job of Texas Democratic Party chair?
So just to touch base a little bit about what I just talked about, guys, I'm sorry if I offended y'all, but it's just a little bit of a reality check as to what Dr. John Darcy was talking about. And so Citizens United passes, and what happens? Us as people become less, right? Because corporations can now, buy an election, guys. And so what we need to do is I want to show everybody here how to be that best corporation as well. Let's beat them at their own game, guys. I want everybody in here to have a PAC. I want everyone in here to have a trust, a corporation. So that way we, as Democrats, can rise up and nurture other workers, nurture families, nurture our veterans, whatever it is that I want for us to be a beacon for the people. They come register with us. We give them the fruits that they need to be good business owners, that they need to be good families, that they need to be good citizens once they transition into civil life. And so me as an executive leader, I want to make sure that we lead the way, guys.
Thank you. Patsy Woods Martin. And again, I'm going to ask the audience to please hold your applause until the end. Patsy Woods Martin.
Yes, I'm Patsy Woods Martin, and I hope you'll agree with me that I am the best person to lead the Texas Democratic Party into the future. Here's why. I have run a winning statewide organization. I have helped elect strong women around this state. I've flipped seats. Right here in Harris County, we supported Marianne Gonzalez and Amanda Edwards. while I was at Annie's List when they run tough races. I also, over the last decade, have raised $30 million to invest in Democratic candidates around this state. We have lots of people doing great work and wonderful ideas, but if we can't fund those ideas and that work, we are lost. I am the woman that can build an organization to do just that.
Thank you. Steve Miller.
Thank you. I have been a leader everywhere I've gone. I graduated high school in Henderson, Texas. I was class president from 3rd grade all the way up through senior year in high school. When I graduated in '87, I went to Texas A&M University. I was a member of the Corps of Cadets. I finished number 3 as a freshman in the Corps of Cadets. I also was voted class president at Texas A&M, at the time, the largest class in the country of 10,000 people. I served 8 years in the Army Reserve. I finished number 1 at basic training, and my platoon finished number 1 at basic training as well. I run a nonprofit called the United States Christian Leadership Organization in East Texas, and we organize churches to be more involved civilly. And a few years ago, we organized 17 East Texas counties get out the vote operations, and we got every last one of them funded.
Delia Parker Bims.
Thank you so much. I'll tell you why I'm the best candidate to lead the state. Because right now, I am the only candidate that stands before you with a record of success and exactly what we need to do in the state of Texas. In Denton County, we were able to transform the 7th largest county to be the largest county in the state of Texas to increase Democratic turnout. We also increased fundraising. We didn't fundraise for popular candidates, we fundraised for the county party, which is a different beast. We were able to invest in that and help our candidates to run and bring out more turnout. We were also number 1 for voter registration. This election is about getting Democrats to the polls. It is about getting them to the polls so we can win seats. We do not have time to argue or fight with each other, and we don't do that in Denton County. We are one team, and that is what we need at the state of Texas level. We need to flip some House district seats in 26, and we need to be ready in 2030 so we can change those maps. We are in the right track in doing that under my leadership in Denton County. Thank you so much.
Patricia Olivares.
So I've worked in Harris County politics over the last 6 years. There's some of you in this room that know me. And one of the things that you may know about me is that I'm usually not the type to stay silent. I usually say the things that need to be said. And while all these candidates have great plans for the Texas Democratic Party, I'll tell you this. If the Texas Democratic Party leadership were a Marine unit, I would not go into war with them because I don't trust them to do what's right by the precinct chairs, by the voters, by the organizers, by the community activists, because Black and brown people for far too long have been left without a seat. I've built, as Director of Government Relations for a national nonprofit, I've built strong coalitions with Department of Defense, Department of Veterans Affairs, and members on Capitol Hill. I'm ready not just to bring that experience to the table, but as well my electoral campaign experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lily Schechter.
So why am I the best person to lead the state party? I think I have a ton of experience, obviously, working here on the ground, but it's not just the experience that I have, it's what we all bring to the table. The best person to lead the party is the person who's going to set aside the me and talk about the collective us. We are stronger together. DJ Ibarra, my former executive director, Delilah Agotahili, my also former executive director at TDP, will tell you that that's how we lead teams in Harris County. Not me, but us all collectively doing work together. That's how we're going to run, how we're going to fix our state is collectively build a team region by region by region, listening to local experts around the state so that we build a stronger party together so that when Trump does things like all the executive orders that he's doing right now, it's not about the executive orders coming down. It's the work we're going to do in 2026 together to win back the state and the country.
Kendall.
All of these folks behind me are great folks. And I think that we need to get back to a point in the party where we have a tone that we understand that everyone's got something to give. And I look forward to working with every one of y'all to be able to turn Texas blue. But the reason that I believe that I'm uniquely qualified is because I've given my life to this party. And I have trained on just about every level of leadership in the trenches with you, alongside you. That's what I think kind of sets me apart, is that I know what it's like to be a candidate out in Deep East Texas where you feel completely ignored and shut out of the system. And how are we going to put data into our systems to ever gain traction out there if we aren't treating those people with the respect that they deserved and that they earned? I believe that the biggest problem we're having as a party right now is a tonal problem. And I hope that folks would tell you, if they knew one thing about me, is that I'm a person that treats everybody with kindness and with respect. And it's going to take a lot of that as we work together to reshape what this party looks like, because it's got to be changed from the ground up in the way we do it. And it's going to take a collaborative leader to do that.
Candidates, as you know, time is ticking. And actually, we've run out of time. 2031, our legislators will vote on redistricting. What is your plan for winning more state house races? We will start with Mary Gomez.
Hello. So voter turnout is our biggest flaw. I think it's only about 5% of people that don't vote. Texas is not a Republican state, it's a non-voting state, guys. Now, what I've said before, and I talked about it in one of the other debates, but I want to think of the Democratic Party as a corporation, as a business, guys. And the reason why they're not coming and voting Democrat is because they're not satisfied customers. But there's no saying that they're not out there, guys, and they are. And we can reach them. If they're not going to vote with the Democratic Party, fine. Thank you. We appreciate your business. We hope we can find some new customers, guys. And so getting the vote out effort is going to be number one, but we got to make sure that our corporation, our organization is running as seamless as possible so that way we can flow into the counties and into the precinct chairs. And so it's going to take a group effort, but getting out the vote is going to be my number one. And I want to do car shows. I want to do concerts. Anything we can do to bring out the young and new votes. Thank you.
Thank you. Patsy Woods Martin, what is your plan for winning more state house races?
It's critical that we win more state house races and take control of the Texas House into the future. I would start by working with our Democratic Party leaders, our county chairs, our activists, our allies to build a strong plan. We have to take back the House by 2030. And the Republicans are giving us a great opportunity right now. 2026 will be a wonderful, opportune year to flip some seats, and we have to add on to that year after year. The way we do that is with continuous community engagement. We need to work with organizers who are from their communities, who listen to voters, who understand what their needs are. And as a state party, we need to listen to these people so that we can motivate and get our base out to the polls.
Thank you. Steve Miller.
I think we need to get back to basics, and that is meeting the needs of the people. If you meet the needs of the people, they will vote for you. If you campaign to the people, they will vote for you. And part of that message is this: we need to take it back to jobs. People need jobs in Texas. People really need jobs in the rural Texas. We also need to concentrate on education. My daughter is a sophomore at Texas A&M University. That tuition bill is $13,000 a semester. People need affordable health care. It just costs too much. And people just need to be able to eat, be able to afford to buy groceries. My wife told me, she said, Steve, man, these eggs are $8 and something. I said, honey, what did they used to be? She said, they used to be $3.65. It's more than doubled. It's too much. So we just got to meet the needs of people, pay attention to what they're asking us to do, and ask them for our vote.
Delia Parker Mims, what is your plan for winning more state house races?
Thank you so much. That is an excellent question. Do me a favor, take your phones out, go to votedelia.org. You can't tell everything in 1 minute. So I'm going to pick a couple of things that we need to talk about. Strategic targeting. That's how we increase Democratic turnout in Denton County. It is a red county, but in our county, we were increasing, not like the state trend in going down. We've got to start targeting, and we actually helped target some other House district races in Texas, one in the Rio Grande Valley. Our strategic strategists in Denton County created a PAC that saw that there was a race in the valley that had flipped Republican. They were 3.4 points behind, 3.4. Strategic targeting. We can't make this a popularity contest. We have to look at races that we can win, and then we have to start engaging in that area. We need to engage all year long, but targeting those races that are strategic, not a popularity contest, because we've got to flip some House seats and we've got to be ready for 2031. Check out votedelia.org.
Thank you. Patricia Oliveras.
Thank you so much for the question. I think most importantly, you can have the best laid plans, right? Let's think about this. When you build a house, what do you start with first? The foundation, exactly. And in the Texas Democratic Party, we are missing foundation. We're trying to support our statewide candidates, our national candidates, but we don't support our down ballot candidates, and that is where we mess up. As a campaign manager for a competitive state house race in 2020, can I tell you how much we raised on that state house race? $1.1 million. We had the whole shebang, all the bells and whistles. And you know what happened? We lost. So it's not just about money, right? You need somebody that can multitask, that doesn't just have the fundraising experience, but that can build coalitions, that can talk to the voter. We need better candidates because a lot of these candidates do not stand for democratic ideals.
Lily Schechter.
2031 is going to be a critical year so that we can not get our asses handed to us every election after that. We have to be at the table for redistricting. How do we get there? We have to work our way backwards. Starting today, I think we need to take a step back. Yes, we're going to have targeted races. We're going to all work together in different House races around the state. But if we don't have trust in the Democratic Party, and we don't have trust between the TDP and the SDC and the county parties and our electorate and our donors and our elected officials, if people don't trust the Democratic Party, they are not going to come out and vote for our Democratic candidates, no matter how good they are. So I think we need to take it back down to the very roots of the work that we are all doing together and make sure that we are trusting each other, trusting our elected officials, trusting our SDC members, and creating a culture of trust, transparency, inclusivity. We start there, and then we start going back, okay, what are we going to do in 26? Which races are we going to target? Which ones are we going to target in 28? Which ones are we going to target in 30? But if we don't look at our foundations of building trust around the state, we're never going to accomplish that.
Thank you. Kendall Shutter.
I greatly appreciate this question. In fact, the most recent House seat that we flipped in the state of Texas was State Representative Mihaela Plisa, and she'll let you know how instrumental I was in being able to flip that seat and holding it. This is something I think is crucial, and the path forward I think is very strategic. What the party should do is create a strategic plan. I get really tired of this defeatist mindset that we always walk into things thinking we're going to lose or we're only going to target 3 or 4 seats. Well, that doesn't flip the House, right? So figure out what that number is. Let's make a strategic plan, and then let's work with our existing constituency caucuses to figure out how we can do year-round campaigning there. People talk about year-round campaigning, but let's actually do it. If the #1 race to hold is going to be, State Representative Mihaela Plisa, then let's talk to the AAPI caucus, and let's figure out who we can put on the ground in there that is local, that is going to retain that knowledge there. And it's not just us dropping somebody in and they spend 3 or 4 months trying to figure out where the bathrooms are, right? This is where we're all working together in a year-round effort and a strategic, targeted plan. I think our staff that we have right now has been working really hard in that effort, and I look forward to supporting them in that.
Thank you, candidates. The next question is, oh, I'm so sorry, Aaron. I'm looking at the end of the line. You're absolutely right.
Unity in the party is going to be one of the biggest things that we can do. If a candidate decides to run, or if we recruit a candidate to run for a seat, having a unified party is going to be, I feel, one of the biggest things that we can do. Additionally, candidates who are running, candidates who are elected, going out and supporting those candidates who are running as an elected official, I think would be helpful for those campaigns. Also, having forums for all these candidates similar to what we're doing here, I think a lot of people try to do it, but kind of making it, mandatory for some of them to show up so you can get to know them. You can hear them out and encourage them perhaps. Maybe they're feeling a little nervous. Maybe they're feeling like they jumped in too deep. But interacting with a lot of the people, interacting with different forums, I believe will help a lot of candidates. Brick and mortar and a lot of small towns in rural Texas, we don't have any representation. I think we have to have at least regionally brick and mortar establishments in every area of Texas. Thank you.
Okay, candidates, your third question for all 8 of you is, what do you believe Texas Democratic Party did right during the last election cycle, and what do you think could have been done better? Okay, what did they do right, and what could they have done better? And we ask you to be specific, please, beginning with Patsy Woods Martin.
In this last election, the Texas Democratic Party engaged in the first real coordinated campaign in 30 years. That is new for the Texas Democratic Party. My husband actually ran the last one 30 years ago when we won an election. What I think we can do better is listen to our voters on the ground. We can, and do not let our message to voters be co-opted by the national party. Folks from Washington, D.C. don't know Texas, and we have to talk about issues that work for Texans. And then we have to fund our programs. That's how we can get better and win races into the future.
Steve Miller.
I think what we did right is we raised $80 million and we ran a real strong Senate campaign. We blanketed the airways with commercials. I think they did a great job there. In East Texas, we saw commercial after commercial after commercial after commercial, which was great. I think the thing we did wrong was this. We let Washington, D.C. pick our candidate. Instead of letting the Senate candidates fight for it at the grassroots level, and then that person rises up and they're nominated and elected at the primary, that's what should have been done. But the national party picked our candidate, and I don't think they did a very good job at doing that.
Delia Parker Mims.
As a county chair, I think that the TDP, and I won't say it's the first time, but they did have a coordinated attempt to work better with county parties. I think they did. I think they tried to give us targets. What I don't think they did well was actually listen to each of the counties. I didn't really get any phone calls from TDP asking what are we doing in our county or how can you help? Or when I did get a phone call, they didn't ask me, what can we do to help your outreach? We were already targeting a race. Another thing that they need to do better is target better races. The race that I mentioned that was in the Rio Grande Valley where it was Republican 3.4, that should have been at the top of the list. In Denton County, we flipped a seat in 2018 and it was Republican 11 points. If you were a Republican 3.4 and previously it was a Democratic seat, that means we should have been more down there protecting our blue wall. They could have done that better.
Thank you. Patricia Olivares.
Can you ask the question one more time, Melanie?
Absolutely. What do you believe TDP did right during the last election cycle, and what do you think could have been done better?
I think that's a very interesting question. When we say, what did the TDP do right last election cycle? Well, I think that we didn't do as well as we should do. And I'll tell you why. Because if we had done well, we wouldn't be having this election right now to look for new leadership. What can we do better? Well, first, we need to get on target with our messaging. And that's why you need a communications professional, a public relations professional just like me who has crafted compelling communication strategies. You need someone who's not afraid to have the hard conversations, so we can fix the structural and the cultural mindset that exists within the Texas Democratic Party. We need better candidates. We need to train them more. We need to train Democratic staff. We need to keep them here. It is too hard many times for Democratic staff to stay in politics. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lily Schechter, same question.
So this is kind of a wonky question real quick. Who here receives the Texas Democratic Party weekly talking points? Raise your hand. I think that's one of the things the party does phenomenally well. The only thing is I wish everyone here raised their hand because they receive these talking points. So I think the party has been doing some amazing communications through their digital platforms and the emails that they send out. I think they've done great work over the last decade to increase their email list. We still have work to do. I think the thing that they could really improve on is collaboration and having a culture of transparency, inclusivity, and trust. Meeting your county parties where they are. It depends, if you're in Weatherford talking to the county party chair there, Kay, she has very different resources and needs than the county party chair here in Harris County. So I think it's meeting them where they're at and having more collaborative conversations about it.
Kendall Shutter.
Well, things that I think the party has done very well. I think the party has a great voter protection program. I think the party does a really great job doing primary administration. I think having the joint fundraising agreement with Colin Allred that Monique helped orchestrate was a wonderful idea. I think there's a lot of things that are going well. And what I think goes wrong is that we're not always coordinating and talking to everybody as we're doing it, right? So what difference does it make if we're making a whole bunch of advances, but we aren't all on the same team working together, right? I think that it is highest priority that the party focused on grassroots. And we have 55 counties without county chairs and 4,500 precincts without precinct chairs. We do not focus hard enough on making sure that we are able to build a grassroots infrastructure across this state. And so these talking points and things are awesome, but we should have precinct chairs in every precinct in this state that are able to distribute it throughout their precincts. That's how this model that we have works. And I don't feel that that grassroots focus has been there. It's been largely focused on ways that we can operate within Austin to make it work.
Thank you. Aaron Aguijo.
One of the things that the Texas Democratic Party does well every election is investing in urban areas, right? Making sure that candidates in urban areas are getting out the vote in urban areas is extremely successful. And I think we banked on that for a little too long now. One of the things that I feel that we could do better is invest in rural areas. I feel like being able to invest in candidates as well. I believe we have a candidate in the House right now, just having that reinforcement of the Democratic Party behind you, I think would help exposure. As the chair of the TDP, I would like to think that they could share a tweet to the Democratic Party of the United States, right? To the DNC and say, hey, these are our candidates in Texas. Let's get them exposure, right? Simple things. That's very easy, right? It's not a big deal, but somebody with a big microphone and a big platform can possibly push that person over the line when it comes to voting. There's a lot of things we still can do, but I will say that one thing that the Democratic Party of Texas does well is invest in urban areas.
Thank you. Mary Gomez.
Hello, everyone. So I don't know if y'all know, but I was on the ballot in the primary in 2024 for U.S. Senate, also with Aaron. And one of the things that I did is I traveled across the state of Texas, and one of the first things I did was call the county party chairs. I couldn't get to everyone. I'm really sorry, but it's like every time I'd get on a phone with one of them, I was on there for like 3 hours, and then my whole day went. But one of the things I noticed is that a lot of the county party chairs do not feel empowered. They do not have the supplies that they need. So as the party chair, I want to make sure that each party, it has training manuals, number one, has access to data and information. And not just that, I want the party chairs to empower their precinct chairs. The precinct chairs are out there in the community. They're going out to lunch with their friends. They're driving, spending gas mileage. We need to find a way that we can either reimburse them for these expenses or so we can help the precinct chairs. That's where the meat is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we are moving to the 60-second portion of, I guess you call this our round two, topic questions. They will only go to 4 candidates, the first question, and 4 candidates, the second question. We're asking you to be specific. That doesn't mean to be lengthy, it just means to be specific, okay? So question number 1, which will start with Steve Miller. In 2024, it's estimated that 61% of Asian voters in Texas voted Democrat. With a rapidly growing population of over 2 million Texans and over 1.2 million eligible Texas voters, Asian communities are critical in our fight to gain and hold Democratic power. How will you build trust and increase Asian voter registration and turnout? And this section is our coalition building section, okay? That's our topic. Steve Miller. So the question again is, how will you build trust and increase Asian voter registration and turnout?
First thing you have to do, it's not on. First thing you have to do is find out where the Asians live, and then you must go and introduce yourself to them. You must talk to them. You must ask them what their needs are. You must find out from them what it is that they need to make it in life. And then you provide that for them. If it's business loans, you tell them where they can get their business loans. If it's education, you help them with education. And then you go to them and you ask them what it is that they need to make it, and you provide that. So in order to increase voter registration, you have voter registration at the churches, you have voter registration at the businesses, you have voter registrations in the communities. And then after that, when it's time to reach out to them for voting, you go into the communities and you ask them to go vote, and then you follow up with them to ask if they did go vote, and if they didn't, you try to provide a way to help them.
Thank you. Delia Parker Mims, how would you build trust and increase Asian voter registration and turnout?
Thank you so much. First, I'm going to say that our messaging has to change, and I truly believe that no matter what community you're in, our messaging is an economic kitchen table message. Secondly, it's about engagement, and it's about being visible. I know I've been on some podcasts that were Asian podcasts. They wanted to lean Democrat, and they said, you know what? Ted Cruz is always on our podcast. Democrats are never on our podcast. We have to increase our outreach. So I'm going to say again, go to votedelia.org, because I have a very well thought out process of how we increase engagement in all communities, but it starts with messaging. Another thing that's critically important, which is actually the first step, is creating an organizational structure that empowers us all, not just the chair, but our caucuses, to be engaging with the community. It's not about the chair driving around to Asian communities. It's about creating a structure where we are empowered to do that together.
Thank you. Patricia Oliveras, same question.
I can come up here and say, well, we need to listen, right? But I think that many times when we say that phrase, we're paying lip service to those communities, because when it comes time to put Asian Americans in power, to empower them in their own communities, we don't do it. And so many times they get disenfranchised and they leave the Texas Democratic Party. What we need to do is we need to be engaging with the community stakeholders. And when I say community stakeholders, I mean the activists, the community organizers. That's who I'm talking about. And we need to align our goals. We need to ask them, what do you need in your community, and how can I provide resources to help you reach your goals? And that is how we engage with the Asian American community and all communities.
Thank you. Lily Schechter.
So one of the first things I did when I was elected as the Harris County Democratic Party chair was create an AAPI community outreach committee that Rufi Natarajan is here today, was one of the co-chairs who helped with the outreach, because I recognized immediately that I am not Asian American. I wanted to expand our reach and trust local leaders so that we could create a year-round organizing machine. Also, while figuring out how to work collaboratively with other organizations that are on the ground already doing the work. So trusting people like Nabila at RISE to help us create communities and go out into communities around Harris County so that we had a year-round organizing machine that looked like the communities we were going into. We have amazing local leaders like Nabila and Rufi and Rish who are already doing this work. So how do we collaborate with them and bring them into the party so that we're doing more work?
Thank you. All right, Kendall, you have a different question starting. It is, some of the demographic, identity, and issue caucuses struggle with funding and institutional support from the party. Will you commit to providing resources to strengthen these organizations? And if so, what will that look like?
Oh, I love this question. I actually touched on this a little bit earlier, so I'm going to come back to it. I believe that we do not utilize people for their talents. That's consistent across the board, whether it's folks on the SDEC have significant finance backgrounds to try to put them in auditing, lean, or if it's, wherever folks are at, we just don't utilize people for what their skills are. And that includes our groups that we have, the constituency caucuses. I believe that what we should do as a party is utilize those constituency caucuses to do our year-round outreach. And we should allow them to help us choose who the person is that's doing that work, but then also to help us kind of set those standards and start doing the work around the clock. One thing that we fail at is when we say, oh, we're gonna hire a black constituency outreach person and they're in charge of the whole state of Texas. Well, you're setting someone up to fail. Okay, no one can do that, and it's not going to be stable and consistent. What you have to do is you choose a geographical area that it works within our strategic plan, and you build those and maintain those relationships in a consistent basis, and when you show up, you win. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron Arguijos, same question.
Thank you. I believe that, this was really loud. Excuse me. I believe that we have, yes, to answer your question, yes, I will support it. And I believe that we have just as qualified Hispanics, Blacks, South Pacific Islanders, Asians, any minority group. I believe that we have those as talented as we do a white group, okay? So the way I see this is I sit in a lot of board meetings. I sit in rooms where I look around and we all know that it's already hard enough. Men get paid way more than women do, right? We know that in corporate America. So when I see men and then non-minorities in there, I always look around, I'm always the one that's only brown, right? And so I wish that our people could be more, because I know there's a lot of them that are as talented as a lot of people that are not people of color, that can be in those rooms with us. So yes, I will support it, and I truly believe that there are minority groups who are just as intelligent, if not more intelligent, than any other culture or ethnicity. Thank you.
Thank you. Marie Gomez, will you commit to providing resources to strengthen demographic, identity, and issue caucuses? And if so, what will that look like?
The way I see the caucuses of the Democratic Party, it's like the rainbow of the party. Each one holds its own value, its own vibration, its own power. What I want to do is be able to, number one, make sure that the leaders of these caucuses feel positive themselves and have whatever it is that they need for us to support them, to help them raise money. I do commit to helping each caucus, right? And I love each one, Stonewall. I'm with the Environmental Democrats. And nobody's really kind of reached out to us other than Clayton, who has helped us with our outreach on our membership. So I want to make sure that, like, I myself don't get that security to really kind of get out there and just call people in. But I want to be able to do that. I do it myself, and I want to be able to do that for everybody else. So I do commit to helping the caucuses as much as I can. The Hispanic, environmental, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Patsy Woods Martin, sorry.
Thank you, Melanie. So the caucuses represent each a very important constituency under our Democratic big tent. And rather than having us all under a big tent, I'd like to have us all sitting at a big table, working for a common goal of electing Democrats up and down the state. Would I commit to supporting these caucuses with the resources they need? Absolutely. First, we have to understand what those resources are. Perhaps it's training. Perhaps it is money. It's always money, right? And if we have enough resources, we can support one another to uplift all Democrats to win elections so that we can get the policies we care about enacted.
Thank you. Our next question, or set of questions, the category is the job of chair. And Steve Miller, you're first, okay? Yes. Sorry, I mean. In the business of politics, what do you believe would be a conflict of interest and what would not? Please be specific. In the business of politics, what do you believe would be a conflict of interest and what would not if you were the chair?
Right now, I don't have any conflicts of interest that I can think of that would interfere with my job as being chair. If I were the chair, my main job for me would be this: going out into the rural areas and building rural infrastructure all over the state. I would break the state up into regions. Then we'd have people over the counties, and then we'd have precinct chairs and directors, and then we'd take each precinct and we'd take break those precincts down into zones, and then we'd do a site map of all the churches and organizations in those regions, and then we would map them on the map, and then we would have those organizations support the people at the ground as they go out and ask people and motivate them to get out and turn out to vote. So building up the rural infrastructure in this state is the job that I would be doing. I would go out and hire the best fundraiser that I possibly could, a person who has been doing the job, the person who has proven success at the job.
Okay. Ms. Mims Parker.
Interesting question. I don't really believe that I have any conflicts of interest. You want me to create some? I will tell you, if I were chair and I gave all the money to Denton County, that'd probably be a conflict of interest. So as chair, I am very data oriented. I'm very strategic oriented, and I believe the first thing we need to do is stop. Create a strategic plan that includes all of our caucuses, our SDEC members, but most importantly, our county parties. We flip Texas through our county parties. And I think it's important that whomever is chair is looking at each county for who they are. One size does not fit all. One county may need more money and another county may need to learn, but every county needs to be invested in. And again, look at votedelia.org, just make sure you're listening, because there you will see a very well thought out analysis of what I think we need to do. Thank you.
Okay. And Patricia Olivares.
It's the same question?
Yes. In the business of politics, what do you believe would be a conflict of interest and what would not if you were the county chair? Please be specific.
Definitely. So this is going to be somewhat difficult to answer because I love everybody out here, all the candidates. You know, when we're behind closed doors and everything, we're absolute friends. You know, we all get along and stuff. But I've been a consultant for a national mail firm. I've been a consultant for a phone and text messaging firm. What I think that the Texas Democratic Party needs is a lot of things, but not more consultants. You know, we need people on the ground. We need to be coordinating strategies. We need to be reaching out to the precinct chairs. How many of you precinct chairs, after the election, after all that running around you've done, after picking up all that lit, how many times have you gotten a thank you from the candidate? Nobody, right? Just one or two? In a room this large, there should be more than 2 people raising their hand. We need to support the precinct chairs, the county chairs. We need to be giving stipends to the precinct chairs, and we need to pay our county chairs and also have coordinated mail programs for down ballot candidates.
Thank you. Lily Schechter.
I think that the number one conflict that you can run into when you're running the county party or the state party is when you get involved in primaries. The Democratic Party at large, the party apparatus, the county parties, state parties, should not be putting their thumb on the scale during primaries, because that is how we really start to create distrust in communities all across the state. And at the end of the day, the Democratic Party, what we're doing is fighting against our common enemy. And to be very clear, we are on a team. We are the Democratic Party team. We are fighting against Republicans who are really trying to destroy our state and our country right now. So I think we have to keep our eyes on the prize and make sure that our general election fights are the fights where we are getting involved in, getting our hands dirty, and really doing the work and avoiding primaries and putting thumbs on the scale of any primary at any time.
Thank you. Kendall, you have a new question. Virtually all of you have jobs or businesses. Until July of 2026, after the state convention, TDP chair is an unpaid position. How would you manage your time during this interim if elected?
Yeah, I already do more than full time in my current position as vice chair for finance. And that's kind of how you know that I'm open to do that. I've put more than 35,000 miles on my pickup last election, going around and helping the team where I could do that. So I don't have a time issue. The way that my family makes money is my wife is a mental health therapist for foster kids at Children's in downtown Dallas. And I have a land acquisitions company where I buy and sell land. And those kind of operate, and it allows me to play politics. And so that's how I'll manage my time, is I'll continue to be active and present, and I'll throw down with you in the field. I think that you deserve a state chair who works as hard as you do. And with me, you get that. You get somebody who's not afraid to knock on doors. I knocked on about 7,000 this cycle. You get somebody who's not afraid to make phone calls and not afraid to get their hands dirty, but who also understands the administrative functionality of the party and how to get that work done. I'm kind of the best of both worlds there, guys. And so I think I provide a unique opportunity for us there, and that's how I manage my time. Thank you.
Okay. Aaron? Mm-hmm.
This is a labor of love. If you don't really want to interact with and make a change and make a difference in people's lives, then this is not the job for you. I mean, this position right here has the ability to get people elected, has the ability to make the changes in people's lives. This is what we're committed to. I'm the CEO and founder of this small company called Blue Rock Accounting and Tax Company, and I have probably about 375 surgeons and about another 1,000 medical hospitals that I do accounting and bookkeeping for. I've already told them all what my intent are, so they're waiting for me to say if I won or not, right? So to balance that time, I mean, this has got to be it, full time. I'm still going to be able to manage a business. I think that if I put the right people in place, we'll still be successful as a businessman, but this is going to be a labor of love. This is something that I'm doing because I truly want to see a change in my state, and I want to see good people get elected and help them represent the people of Texas, who we really are. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary?
Real quick, on that last question, I wish I would have answered it, because when I filed for chair, someone begged me to remove my application. I don't know who it was, but there is a conflict of interest already. And I want you guys to know that if any of y'all are associated with that person who begged me to remove my application, please disassociate yourself from that person, because they will be called out. Now, if I am the executive, I already like Aaron says, it is a labor of love, guys. And so I want y'all to know that I kind of find myself trying to find more goals. You know, I was a state athlete in the state of Texas. I'm in choir. I'm a mom, and so I love what I do. Everything I do, everything I touch turns to gold. And so I have a lot of time on my hands. I kind of want to do more. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands dirty with you guys. So thanks.
Thank you. Patsy Woods Martin.
I'm at a point in my life where I can dedicate 80 hours a week to this project. And honestly, I think being Texas Democratic Party chair requires that. I did just that when I worked at Annie's List. I know how big this state is. I built relationships all over the state. I look forward to leveraging those relationships in order to do the work of the Texas Democratic Party.
Thank you. The next topic is fundraising. The biggest priority of the next chair will be to raise money. I think we all agree with that. Without it, you can't accomplish any of the programs or coalition building you've just been talking about. So Delia, you're first. Can you outline your fundraising plan for the 2026 cycle? Please be specific.
Thank you so much. Fundraising is big, but I'm going to talk fast. I think there's 4 areas that are needed: fundraising, engagement, voter registration, and get out the vote. All of them need a strategic plan. I was able to increase fundraising in our county. We went from a $20,000 campaign to a $200,000 campaign in 6 weeks by being strategic. What I think we can do is go outside of the state of Texas, and I don't think anybody can do it better than I can on this stage, and talk to those safe blue states and say, if we are engaging Texas and we flip Texas, we have just changed America. We have just changed America. That is kind of what I did when I raised it at the county level. It's a little bit different raising money for a county party as opposed to a popular type candidate, but when you have a strategic plan, you can do that. And I believe that those safe blue states is what Stacey Abrams did. You go out there and you tell them we have to work together as one team.
Thank you. Patricia?
It's fundraising. Ask the question again, please.
Yes. Can you outline your fundraising plan for the 2026 cycle?
Absolutely. People think that there is some magic secret to fundraising, but there isn't. You know what fundraising takes? Asking for money. You just have to ask. And many of our candidates are afraid to ask for money. And then it becomes incumbent on the organizations and the state party to raise these funds to help them. But we need help from everybody. Fundraising is a multi-level strategic approach. You use your traditional methods, right? But in order to be successful, your message has to be on point. It has to be able to resonate with the voters. They have to see authenticity and that you actually care. One of the things that I want to mention is that we need to teach our candidates how to leverage the power of social media. Who here's on TikTok? Yay! How many followers do you have?
Oh, probably very few.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Lily?
So 60 seconds is not enough time to answer that question. How do we build a plan and a fundraising plan that's going to meet the needs for the state Democratic Party? I think first and foremost, we have to start with the 360 evaluation of where our funding streams are today. But while we're doing that, we also have to start building trust around the state, because the way we get donors, large donors, small donors, grassroots donors, however, to come back to the table is to build trust with the party. So first do an analysis and see where our revenue streams are, where we're getting money in, and then start to build a plan around that. Whether or not you love Colin Allred or you love Beto O'Rourke, we can all agree that they were amazing fundraisers who raised large dollars, massive amounts of money for their campaigns. How do we bring them back into the party to help us recreate their fundraising plans so that we can raise as much money as they were at the party?
Thank you. Kendall.
This is a very important question. Fundraising is crucial to what we do. It's a very important hat that we wear. I think the county chairs behind me understand too that it is much more challenging to raise money for a party apparatus than just for a candidate or for a nonprofit. And so there's got to be a really strong focus on this. I think there are several different buckets that we're in. The first bucket, we're looking at grassroots, right? How are we jiving up that sustaining membership program? We've been doing a lot of great work on that over the years. I'd like to see us do it more. Do we have any sustaining members in the house? I'd love to see more hands there, okay? There we go. That's bucket number one. Bucket number two is going to be having these events and being able to raise dollars from larger donors, right? We need to be doing more of that in more places around the state than just in Austin and occasionally in Dallas and Houston. Maybe funding specific programs. We need to figure out how it works in with our coordinated or with our strategic plan. I think that's a great bucket. Another bucket that we have is going to be things like endowments and in your wills and estate planning. We very rarely go to people and talk about that from a developments post, but we could create long-term sustainable infrastructure for the party if we focused on that bucket as well.
Thank you. All right, Aaron. What new or innovative fundraising idea do you plan to bring to our state party that will either increase revenue or reduce cost at TDP? Sure. What new or innovative fundraising idea do you plan to bring to our state party that will either increase revenue or reduce costs?
If you have a pen, you want to write this down. Go to federarelectionscommission.gov and search candidate contributions, filter by zip code, and download. That's a free one, because I want to see Texas win. You're going to be able to see every person in your zip code that has donated to a Democratic Party, a Republican Party. You can just filter out by the Democratic Party. That could start you from a grassroots level. From a ground level, that's what could start you. Top down, there's a lot of ways we could do it. I mean, I've been a part of a couple of acquisitions and mergers, and we just did a $200 million acquisition of this big company that we bought out called MedSure. We had to raise $6 million of it. We presented some financials. By the time it was all said and done, there were about 30 banks that wanted to help us, right? I'm not saying this is the approach that we can take, but what I am saying is that there are ways that we can leverage certain assets that we may have so that we can raise funds for the Democratic Party of Texas. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary, what new or innovative fundraising idea do you plan to bring to the state party?
Well, guys, I'm going to act like I'm already the boss, right? Okay, so what I want you guys to do, all of the precinct chairs, I want you, right now, what is the number one, the hottest topic with the state legislature? School vouchers. And the building that you're sitting in right now was paid for by the state of Texas. You want to know how I know? Because my dad was the CEO for a church in Austin, Texas, for Assemblies of God. The church that we sat in was paid for by the state, right? So, well, we already have investments in the public schools with our students, right? Well, who are the best students? The artistic ones. I want you guys to contact your art students, the music, the painters, the designers, the electronic people. Talk to them and tell them, hey, bring your friends, let's have a little party, let's get together, let's talk, do a vendor market, and then let's talk about politics. A lot of times that I struggle with my kids, they don't want to talk about politics, but at the end of the day, we end up talking about politics. And let me just tell you, I always find a Democrat. Yes.
Patsy?
So I am going to talk about new and innovative in a second. The first thing I want to talk about is the basics. We've got to make sure we get the basics right at the Texas Democratic Party when it comes to building our brand, building trust, and actually having a person on staff responsible for fundraising. I believe the finance director spot has been vacant for 2 years. That's the basics. Then innovative, I actually launched an effort in Austin called Amplify Austin. That's a digital fundraising platform that raises about $112 million over 11 days of online giving. I wonder if if the Texas Democratic Party couldn't launch such a platform for not only the party, but our allies, so that rather than getting multiple requests, folks could go to one place, decide where they want to give their money in our democratic ecosystem, and we'll raise some money.
I think you answered I didn't get no, okay, sorry. Go right ahead.
When I was in seminary, the professor came to us one day and said, people do not give to keep the lights on. They said, people give to fund a vision. So as chairman, I would put together a team to come up with a strategic plan where we listen to all of the interested parties and we create a great vision for the party. After we come up with the strategic plan and the vision, we would go out and hire the best fundraiser in the country that money could buy. And then we fund that person. Then we would give that person the plan, the vision, make sure they know it inside and out, and they would fundraise using that vision. And at which time they needed the chair to come to help them get across the line at any point. I'd come out there and then I'd help them get across the finish line. But in short, I would hire a fundraiser who's been doing this for a living for a very long time.
We're now going to go to our next topic, which is county parties. Precinct chairs are the lifeblood of the party, and many positions are vacant. What resources and programs would you dedicate to precinct chairs? Patricia, you're going to go first this time.
Well, we need to pay them. It's a hard job to do, especially year-round. You know, it's hard to be an organizer when you have to pay the bills. And I've seen it many times where people cannot stay in politics because they're not earning a livable wage. And as Democrats, we need to be embodying those ideals. So we need to provide stipends for our precinct chairs, because I know y'all waste a lot of gas and time running around on behalf of these candidates. We need to, I'm so sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather and my brain's a little bit foggy. But most importantly, we also need to give resources to the county party. Our party isn't all bad. There's just a couple of cracks in the foundation that we need to fix. And I think that if we get that right, we'll have a long-term strategy and we can reverse 30 years worth of Democratic losses. Thank you.
Lily?
Will you repeat the question?
Absolutely. What resources and programs would you dedicate to precinct chairs?
Love the question. I started off officially as a precinct chair before I ran for county party chair. And I think the precinct chairs are the backbone of the Democratic Party. Talking to Alan Gutman today, who's one of our very active precinct chairs in Harris County, we talked about a program that he's created. Alan, are you here? Campaign in a Box? What's it called? Organizing in a Box. Alan has a toolkit that he's created for precinct chairs that I think, is ready to go on the road all across the state and help train other precinct chairs across the state. But what it is recognizing that people all around the state are looking for resources in different ways. It doesn't necessarily mean funds. Sometimes it means training. Sometimes it means collaboration. And so making sure that we empower people like Alan to go across the state to train other precinct chairs. Recognizing also that we have a shortage of precinct chairs. We need to recruit more precinct chairs. We need to recruit more county party chairs all across the state. But once we get the precinct chairs and county chairs in those positions, we need to give them the tools that they need.
Thank you. Kendall?
So the very first thing I want to do as chair is a precinct chair program. I've been a precinct chair before. I know how freaking frustrating it can be as a precinct chair, where you don't even have expectations set for you a lot of times. A lot of precinct chairs don't even know what their job is. No one's ever told them. Have you ever been a part of a private organization that hasn't had onboarding when you join it? It's wild to me. So the first thing I want to do as chair is set up an onboarding system. It sounds a little 101, and it is, and it's got to be done. Where every precinct chair, county chair, SDEC member goes through it. It tells you what your expectations are, what your roles are, who's where and who plays what roles, and sets the company culture and the company tone of who we are. We don't have a tone. And when nobody's in charge, everybody's in charge, fiefdoms start popping up and we all start fighting each other. You need a chair that's going to bring this party together, where every one of us are working on the same page. And that's an onboarding program. So to me, that is the first program I want to do, is one that operates quarterly in perpetuity. Anytime you have a new county chair, new precinct chair, they're put into this onboarding program so everyone knows what their expectations are.
Thank you. Aaron?
Brick and mortar. We need brick and mortar locations in a lot of areas, at least regionally in Texas, because we are obsolete in a lot of these rural areas. A lot of companies, when it gets too expensive to pay a CPA, they'll hire from within, and they'll start growing their own accounting office or their own accounting team from within. We can do that. We can do that with the TDP. Now, I've just looked at a bird's eye view of what's happening with the TDP financials, but if we drill down, I bet there's ways that we could save money. I bet there's ways that we could pay people to build a team from within, and then maybe we could allocate funds to the precinct chairs, right? Not saying they want to get paid. A lot of them do it for volunteer, but what I'm saying is, if we can allocate some sort of money to them where they can have at least a $2,000 stipend, for example, at the beginning of the year, that'll help you with rent. Throughout the year, come up with ideas for them to have fundraisers. Hey, this is what Houston's doing. This is what Carrizo Springs is doing. This is what El Paso's doing. Check it out in your community to see if it works. There's a lot of ways that we can do this, so thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mary. What plans do you have for county chairs, and what does that relationship look like?
Well, I think I have a really good relationship with some of the county chairs for the state of Texas. It's unfortunate that I don't have a good relationship with my county chair for Hidalgo County, but it's a work in progress. And what I do want to do is basically just get to know everybody. What I did for my Senate race is I called you guys, I stood on the phone, I listened to you guys, not because I wanted to, but we just engaged. It was like almost like a connection. Democrats are my people, I love it. Every program that I ever applied for before I ever started voting, at the end of that program there was a Democrat. And so I think that I'm already connecting with a lot of the chairs and a lot of the SDEC, a lot of the precinct chairs, and I look forward to listening more and getting what it is that you need. That was my promise as a Senate candidate as I was running, because I saw all the cracks in the foundation, guys, and so I'm ready to fill in the gaps and make sure that you guys feel appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Patsy?
County chairs are critical for the future of the Texas Democratic Party. They are our ears and eyes on the ground. And I actually have set meetings in the next 2 weeks with our county chairs. And I've done it by the size of the county they work in. What county chair in the large counties is interested and needs from the Texas Democratic Party is very different than what a county chair in a rural county across the state needs. So we have to listen, we have to empower. As a state party, we can build templates for our county chairs to use as they recruit precinct chairs. The state party should be the center and working as the hub with our spokes, our county chairs.
Thank you. Steve?
In East Texas, what I did was I called up the executive committee member and asked them who all of their county chairs were. There are 42 counties in East Texas, and I've worked with about 30 of them. And after learning their names, I gave them a call. I went to them. I asked them what it was that they needed that I could help them with. Through them, we went to the local preachers, and we organized together. We had back-to-school drives. We had voting drives. We had get-out-the-vote operations. We had Souls to the Polls. And in organizing with them, we organized 17 counties in East Texas, and we had Souls to the Polls in each one of them, and we got them all funded. So I've had extensive work with many of the county chairs in East Texas.
Delia, thank you.
Thank you. Flipping Texas runs through our county parties. We have to respect and understand that. I speak county party language. My county is a lot like the state of Texas. We've got rural areas, we're large suburban areas, and we're very close to the urban side of Dallas. We have precincts that include that area. It is not what we will do in the future as far as my county, as far as being the county chair that I am. We are already working with county chairs. And what I have learned is that even organizational structure is something that they struggle with. Dealing with people, if you're a leader, you know how difficult it is to deal with Democrats. So providing support with our county chairs is important. But what I want to emphasize is because Denton County has been so successful in increasing turnout and getting voter registration, we have already begun reaching out to other county chairs and talking to them. And they've been reaching out to me, asking how do we develop that structure? And we need to do that.
Okay, everyone, we're going to change the pace a little bit here. And maybe even lighten the mood just a tad bit and give our candidates a chance to breathe a second. And we're going to have a lightning round. So in this lightning round, we would like you to give us a one-word answer, okay? If possible, if it calls for it. And we're going to just start here and go straight down the row, all right? All right. Aaron, what is your favorite and least favorite, who is your favorite and least favorite president?
We all know Donald Trump is the worst. We all know Joe Biden was one of the greatest.
Okay. Mary? Your favorite president and your least favorite?
The one who made me a Democrat, guys, President Barack Obama. And my least favorite is Ronald Reagan.
Okay. Patsy? Favorite and least favorite?
Least favorite is Donald Trump. Favorite is Barack Obama.
All right. Steve, favorite and least favorite?
Favorite, John F. Kennedy. Least favorite, the current occupant of the House.
Yeah. Delia?
Carter is my favorite, and Reagan is my least.
All right. Patricia, favorite and least favorite?
You took my answer. My favorite president is President Jimmy Carter, and my least favorite is the clown that currently resides in the White House.
All right. Lily?
Favorite president, LBJ. Least favorite, Trump.
Okay. And Kendall?
My favorite is Franklin Roosevelt, and my least favorite is Ronald Reagan.
All right. Kendall, we're going to go with you now. If the mascot of the Democratic Party was not a donkey, what mascot would you choose? A one-word answer.
Oh, I don't know.
Just quickly, this is lightning.
Peacock.
Lily? This is lightning, folks.
That's what I'm going with, peacock.
Okay, that's fine.
What is my, what?
If the mascot of the Democratic Party was not a donkey, what mascot would you choose?
Oh, that's really difficult. I'm going to go with a dog because I love my dog.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to say sharks. I love Shark Week, so we're going to be sharks.
Okay, Delia?
The Black Panther.
Okay, Steve?
A thoroughbred.
All right.
The king of the jungle.
All right. Mary?
Oh, hello. I'm with Delia, but mine is Pink Panther.
Okay. And Aaron?
The real American freedom, the buffalo.
Okay. All right. Okay, so here we go, and just to be fair, we're going to start with you, Steve, since you're in the middle. What's your ideal presidential and vice presidential Democratic candidate ticket in 2028?
One more time.
Ideal. What's your ideal presidential and vice presidential Democratic candidate ticket in 2028?
That's a good one. Wes Moore for president, Gavin Newsom for vice president.
Okay, Delia?
Governor Whitmer for president, and Josh Shapiro for vice.
All right, Patricia?
Kamala Harris, again, because black women need to be in charge.
Okay.
They definitely need a seat at the table.
All right, come on.
Sorry, what's the other one?
Lightning. And the vice president?
AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Okay, Lily?
This is ideal, right? This
Ideal.
doesn't have to be real.
Ideal.
Maybe we speak it into existence. Michelle Obama and Pete Buttigieg.
Okay. Kendall?
It would be inappropriate for the party chairman to play favorites in a primary.
All right, Aaron?
Kamala Harris and Hakeem Jeffries.
Okay, and Mary?
So this is kind of out of the ordinary, but I would recruit Paul Ryan and as president, and I would put AOC as vice president.
All right, Patsy?
Good luck with that.
Yeah, he hates the Republican Party now,
Wes
guys.
Moore and Gretchen Whitmer.
Okay, all right. All right, so how are we doing, everybody? Okay? Okay. All right. Okay, so we're at the stage now. We have a couple of more questions. I know the time has gone long. That's why I'm checking in with you all as well. Okay, wrap it up? Okay, all right, then we're wrapping up here. So our final questions. Let's get to them. All right, this is for all 8 candidates to answer, okay? 1 in 6 voters and 1 in 5 Democrats live in Harris County. What are you going to do to put boots on the ground in Harris County? Aaron?
Yes. work with organizations locally here in Harris County, organizations that are already established here that would help us go into these areas, specifically the 5th, the 3rd, all of Houston, and help us get more voter turnout. I think right now we are at a time in our country where people are realizing that it was very important to vote. So I think that there's an energy going around the country that may just help us flip Texas this year or this upcoming election. So to do that, I think that one of the most important things that I could do here in Houston is to work with the local organizations that are already established and reinforce them with more Democrats. Thank you.
Okay, Mary? Yes, what are you going to do to put boots on the ground in Harris County?
Hello? So what's the first thing I talked about, guys? I talked about how corporations have more power than individuals, right? So what I want to do is every single precinct chair to have their own political action committee. And you guys will receive donations and make expenditures. I want you guys thinking like corporations, each and every one of you guys. And not just that, you're going to also teach your children. And that's going to be a legacy upon a legacy. And we're going to build an army that will be unstoppable. Because what are we going to do? We're going to beat them at their own game, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Patsy?
So in order to win a statewide election in the state of Texas, a candidate has to get 60% of the vote in Harris County. So how do we do that? There are organizations on the ground right now doing the work. Folks like TOP, our Democratic clubs, our Democratic County Party. We need to make sure that those efforts are coordinated and that they're fully funded to fight back with the influx of Republican dollars that are coming into this county. We've got to put every boot on the ground, and we've got to be smart, efficient, so that we can win.
Okay, Steve?
To put boots on the ground, we will work with the organizations that are already existing, that are in existence, and then we'd expand that. We'd work with the universities. Then we'd work with the high schools, we'd work with the middle schools, we'd coordinate all of these people who have not been involved in the past to get involved in the process, to bring them into the process so we can get more people energized in the party.
Talia.
Thank you. Harris is blue, but in order for us to win statewide, we need these blue counties not to just be blue, we need them to be deep blue, to get the people who don't even know that there's an election happening to the polls. That's what we did in Denton County. We targeted the people who were Democrats, but not likely to vote, to get them to the polls. And I was a block walker, so I can tell you there are people who truly don't even know that the election is happening. So in our urban cities, we need to go deep. And I'm gonna say this, I believe in creating a strategic plan, and I can give you an opinion, but I believe in having an informed plan to determine how we increase turnout in these blue areas, because we need them to go deep. We need them to increase like we did in Denton County, but we can't ignore our rules. So yes, we need to have an emphasis on places where we know we can get low-hanging fruit. We do that by creating a strategic plan, engaging everyone, not just the county party. We can't flip Texas just with the party. We need everyone. Go to votedelia.org.
Thank you. Patricia?
So one of the things that we do in Texas Democratic politics, we rely heavily on the aging voting population, and they are tired. They are tired of coming up, voting, and we need to engage our young people. There's so many amazing activists. Is Isaiah Martin in here? I thought I saw. We need to be engaging him. He's an amazing social media influencer right there. Look, I see Olivia Juliana right there. She's also an amazing social media influencer, and both of them know that there are thousands of young people on TikTok that want to get involved. We need to start listening to young people, and we need to engage them. We don't need to bring boots on the ground. They're already here. We have to outreach to them, and when they come to the county party and they're asking to get involved, we need to give them an opportunity to do so instead of turning them away. Thank you.
Thank you. Lily?
Need to.
One of the first things I did when I was the Harris County Democratic Party chair, and you'll hear me say this over and over again because I have the experience doing this work already. When I went onto the office in 2017, we had a huge office. We had very few staff members, so what did I do? We opened the doors to Battleground Texas, Swing Left, TDP, and the DCCCs so that we could all work together collaboratively to create a community and a vibrant community so that we could create a year-round organizing machine. It was not just about working together around election times, it's working day in and day out and doing trainings leading up to the election time. So the way we get more boots on the ground is respecting our county parties and working side by side with them, and then working with everybody else on the ground that's already doing the work.
Thank you. Kendall.
There's two trains of thought here, right? Well, there's always one group of people who says, well, the only way we're ever going to flip Texas is if we start milking more blue votes out of blue areas. And then there's another group of folks that say, well, the only way we're ever going to flip Texas is if we start doing better in rural areas. And the reality is they're both wrong because they're both right. We have to be able to do both of them. Right? We are the party that created the Great Society and the New Deal. We put a man on the moon. Surely we can organize in both rural and urban places at the same time. Okay? It shouldn't be such a difficult concept. We need to focus largely, in my opinion, in the suburbs where we're seeing Harris County growth really start to sprawl out. And Patsy's completely right that we talk about Harris County being blue, but if it ain't blue, or we don't really have much of a path there. I think you're correct. A lot of times, these blue areas do get written off because we're like, well, they're already blue, we'll try to flip other places. But you can't do that. We have to find ways to be able to get more votes out of Harris County, Dallas, Travis. And the way we do that is by showing up, being intentional, putting boots on the ground, and working with the people that are on the ground already doing the work to try to support them in their data efforts.
Thank you. Everybody give our candidates a hand. All right. They've done a great job here today. Oh, no, yeah, we did. You were looking at me. I was like, did I forget you again? They've done a great job here today. And I also want to thank Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church again, all of our hosts, all the county chairs and the county parties. I'm going to ask David Wynn to head this way to close us out from the Asian American Democrats. And we want to thank you all. Thank you for coming out. Thank you, all of you that are watching via social media. This has been a huge undertaking, and especially for them. They're crossing and crisscrossing all over Texas. And so they realize, and so I know that you all realize just how important this is. We promised them closing statements, but instead, I'm going to ask you all, for the sake of time, there's a mix and mingle after this, right here in this room. You have the opportunity to speak directly with these candidates, ask them any remaining questions that you may have, connect with them via their social media, and please talk to your neighbors. David?
Please welcome the State Secretary of the Asian American Democrats of Texas Caucus, Mr. David Wynn.
Thank you everyone for being here today. I'm honored to represent the Asian American Democrats of Texas Caucus. Once again, I just want to thank all of our candidates for showing up today, our amazing moderator, Melanie, as well as all of you for being part of this very important conversation. I just want to shout out the Texas Democratic Party, Monique and Marco, Harris County Democratic Party, Chairman Mike Doyle, Nicole, as well as all the staff and volunteers, our co-hosts, from the different Democratic parties, Fort Bend, Brazoria, Montgomery, Jefferson, Galveston, and Waller counties, as well as Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church for providing this great space. And as well, I wanted to give a special recognition to our partners at the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats. And it's an honor to stand alongside with you because our communities are only strongest when we show up for each other. As we wrap up today's forum, I want to mention that constituency caucuses like ours exist because diversity is at the heart of this party. AANHPI, Black, Latino, and Indigenous Democrats have been the backbone of this movement for decades. And together, we're building a Texas Democratic Party that reflects us all. Our strength is in solidarity, and we must keep fighting for a Texas that works for everyone. As we move forward, this election is critical. We're choosing a leader who will uplift our communities, address the needs of every Texan, and we need leadership that continues to listen to each of us, values us, and fights for us. The SUC will be meeting on March 29th to vote for the next chair. So please make your voices heard, because your input will help shape the future of this party. There will be 4 more forums ahead, so the next one will be in Dallas on February 22nd, followed by Lubbock on March 1st, Austin on March 28th, as well as a virtual forum on March 25th. Thank you again, and take care and stay safe out there. Thank you.